Good evening. Welcome to our guided meditation session at Vajrayana Institute. And I'm Wai Cheong. So in the month of July, I'll be continuing the guided meditation sessions in the evenings on Monday and Wednesday. So welcome all of you to join me in meditating. As usual, we'll be doing two different meditations together. And the first one, I thought to continue exploring the theme of mindfulness, cultivating mindfulness in our meditation. And previously, I have touched on how within a session, we can start with mindfulness of body, and then mindfulness of feelings, and then mindfulness of the mind itself, our thoughts and emotions. So today, I thought, let me touch on mindfulness of body again. It's something quite simple, and I would like people to maybe consider doing it in a simple manner. By simple, I mean don't have to try hard, and definitely do not need to try harder. Just a light touch when we return our attention to be aware, to be mindful of the different bodily sensations. So what do I mean by that? By inviting our attention to come back to attend to the different bodily sensations right here and now within ourselves, with our own body. Mindfulness of body, as the name implies, we are reconnecting our awareness with our body. And you'll be surprised that for quite a lot of us, we can spend a lot of time almost dissociated from our own body, except for when we experience strong sensations like hunger, thirst, nature's call, or pain. Quite often we are oblivious to how the body is doing, because so much of our modern day living and work draw the attention to our mind, to our thoughts, to various ideas. So it's very helpful in meditation practice to begin with reconnecting mind and body. And the way I present it, using less effort is better than using more effort. Just a light touch. I suggest to people to consider not trying too hard when we reconnect our attention to the body. Don't have to really drill down to notice every single sensations. Just a light touch, just to almost like tune in, to listen to our own body. How is my body feeling? In this session, at this point of time, notice simple sensations. Because it's unlikely you will notice some spectacular, exciting sensations happening within your body. Most probably, it's just the common sense of the more usual experiences of heaviness or lightness, warmth or cold, maybe tension and relaxation, hardness or softness. And sometimes you will encounter uncomfortable sensations, maybe even painful sensations within your body. Likewise, you can also encounter very comfortable, relaxing, nice feelings within your body. Those are quite possible. And that's enough. That's all it takes, and that's all we are looking for. We're not really looking for anything spectacular, anything unusual. And by just applying a very light touch to reconnect our awareness with the body, by simply allowing some of those sensations back into our awareness, our conscious awareness, we are initiating a process of change, one that encourages the body, the intelligence of our own body, to readjust itself. Now that they're actually actively receiving feedback of how we feel, about what is happening in the different parts of our body, as those sensations come alive in our awareness, you will find that the body is surprisingly able to adjust itself. Of course, not immediately. Usually it takes a while, takes some time, depending on how familiar you are with the routine, with this practice. But when it does happen, the body has an incredible ability to let go, to release maybe contractions or tension and tightening that are quite unnecessary. It sort of re-establish for itself a different state of balance, of equilibrium. Now that is aware of what is actually happening. So that is the ability we want to tap into when we begin each meditation with mindfulness of body, inviting our attention to come back to our own body. So that's what we're going to do. And I like to do it in the context of a practice that I call touch and release. And because I find that, at least for myself, it has quite a strong effect. And it's quite simple. It's just that it involves sending our attention to many different parts of our body. That's all. It's a little bit complicated in terms of that. But what we actually do is quite straightforward. Synchronize with the breath, with the in-breath. We invite attention to be in touch with the sensations at that part of the body. And with the out breath, we simply remind ourselves, our own body and mind, that it can release. We don't have to control the release. We don't have to dictate what is being released. We simply remind ourselves, remind our body and mind, that you can actually let go. You can let go of anything that is unhelpful or unnecessary. How it's going to do it, we don't know. The body has its own wisdom. The mind has its own wisdom. What is going to release, we also don't know. We just allow them to happen. But we can notice when a release happens. There is a softening and the relaxation of tension. That's wonderful. There is the mind putting aside various different concerns or things that is bothering it. You may suddenly realize that you have dropped the concern along the way as we go deeper into the meditation. Okay, so touch and release, and that's what we're going to do in this first session. Yeah. So let's place our body in a comfortable, supportive posture, and I'll just ring this bell to signal the start. So let's take a few moments to allow our body to adjust itself, to find its way into our meditation posture. So the most important aspect of the posture is to make sure that the back, the spine, feels comfortable, that it is naturally upright if we are sitting, and straight if we are lying down on our back. Taking care that the entire length of the spine is at ease, that our posture has not introduced additional unnecessary tension or discomfort into any part of the spine. We rest our hands and arms on some physical support. While sitting, we can rest our hands on the knees or place them one on top of the other in the lap. Lying down, we can rest our arms and hands on the floor or on whatever physical support we are resting on. Feel free to close your eyes completely if you find that helpful. Otherwise, you are most welcome to leave your eyes open or half open. Let's begin by sensing the sensations coming through at the points of contact between our body and our seat, our body and the ground. We allow ourselves to notice sensations beneath us, sensations of solidity, of firmness, of stability. We try to emphasize that our body is resting on a very solid, firm support, and that the whole posture feels well balanced and safe. This will help to initiate a natural process whereby the body can start to release unnecessary tensions and tightness. Our body can loosen up, can unwind, so that it can really settle down comfortably into the posture. And the next step, we're going to spend some time inviting our attention to come back here and now, to reconnect with the different bodily sensations in the practice of mindfulness of the body. We're going to do that synchronized with our natural breath. So let's start by attending to the breath sensations within our body. See whether we can get in touch with the flow and the rhythm of our own breath. As we experience the in-breath and the out-breath, see if we can synchronize with this rhythm, such that when we breathe in, not only do we let in fresh air, we're also inviting our attention to come back here and now, to be in touch with the sensations at the different parts of our body, starting at the crown. Breathing in, be aware, be in touch with sensations here at the crown of the head. Breathing out, we remind ourselves, our body and mind, that they can release. Returning attention to the crown, notice subtle sensations, tingling sensations, a feeling of slight pressure, a sense of warmth or coolness, or any other kind of sensations, or even maybe no sensation at all. Breathing out, releasing, we give permission for anything that is unhelpful or unnecessary to simply flow away with the breath. So let's move on from the crown, allow attention to move downwards to the forehead, so that as we breathe in, we are in touch with sensations at our forehead, as well as sensations in the rest of the face. Breathing out, we remind ourselves, our body and mind, to release. Coming back, breathing in, be in touch with sensation in the face. Notice any tensions in the face. And as we breathe out and say the word release in our own mind, see if we can persuade the muscles of our own face that they can relax. They can let go of any of the tightness and tensions, so as to welcome in a feeling of softness, of ease and comfort into our own face. Then moving downwards to the throat, placing our attention here at the throat. Breathing in, we are aware of sensations here at the throat and at the neck. Notice sensations here. And on an out breath, we release. With our attention, move to the right shoulder and pick a spot. Breathing in, be in touch with sensations at the right shoulder. Breathing out, release. If we do notice any unpleasant sensations at any part of the body, see if we can simply acknowledge them as such. They may not flow away or be released immediately. So see if we can be patient with ourselves, with our own body, and let them be for the moment. We let attention travel down to the right elbow, touch and release, synchronize with our breath. We let our attention continue down to the right wrist, touch and release. Coming back here and now to be in touch with sensations at the right wrist, which is an unusual place to notice. See if we can, just a light touch, don't have to try very hard, don't have to look for special sensations. In fact, sometimes you may notice none whatsoever, and that is perfectly fine. Just a light touch to be aware, and then on the out breath, release. We release our attention so that it can flow into the right hand and be aware of sensations here at the right hand, the palm of the hand, the back of the hand, sensations down the fingers all the way to the fingertips. And breathing out, don't forget to remind yourself, body and mind, to release. Imagine releasing the weight of the right arm. Simply allow that to rest comfortably on its physical support. Switching over to the left shoulder, breathe in to a spot at the left shoulder to be aware of sensations here. Breathing out, release. Let attention travel down to the left elbow, touch and release at our own pace. So feel free to move at your own pace, stay and linger longer at any spot if you like, or move ahead of me if you prefer. Feel free to ignore what I'm saying if it is not helpful or not appropriate for you. From the left elbow, allow attention to continue down to the left wrist, touch and release. Let attention flow into the left hand so that we are aware of sensations here. And on the out breath, remind ourselves to release. Imagine releasing the weight of the left arm. Allow it to rest comfortably on its physical support. We invite our attention to come back to the chest, at the center of the chest, what we usually call the heart center. Breathe into here to be aware, to be in touch with sensations, and out to release. Let attention awareness descend further down to the abdomen, arriving at the level of the navel, breathing into this spot here at the navel, to be in touch, to be aware of sensations here, and on the out breath, release. Let attention descend further to the base of the spine. Breathe into this place at the base of the spine, the tip of the tailbone, so that we are aware of subtle sensations. And on the out breath, release. Imagine releasing the weight of our entire pelvis. Simply allow it to rest comfortably on the seat or on the floor. We extend attention to the right hip joint. So at the right hip, pick a spot, direct your attention here with a light touch. Be aware of sensations. And then on the out breath, we release. Let attention travel down to the right knee, touch and release at our own pace. We let our attention continue down to the right ankle, touch and release. We let attention flow into our right foot so that we are aware of sensations here at the sole of the foot, the top of the foot, sensations in the toes. And as we breathe out, remind ourselves to release. Release the entire weight of the right leg. Simply allow it to rest comfortably on the floor or wherever physical support it is on. We switch sides to the left hip joint. Breathe into the left hip to be aware, to notice sensations, out and release. Let attention travel down to the left knee, touch and release at our own pace. Continue down to the left ankle, touch and release. Let attention flow into the left foot so that we are aware of sensations at the top of the foot, the sole of the foot, sensation in the toes. And as we breathe out, we release. We release the entire weight of the left leg. Allow it to rest comfortably on the ground on its support. Now that we have traveled through the whole body, practicing mindfulness of body, we allow our body to continue to unwind, to loosen up, to release, to settle more and more comfortably into the posture. We rest our attention with the body here and now, attending to the different bodily sensations, or if you like, using the breath sensations in particular as a support. Returning attention to them again and again to be in touch with these different sensations of the body. And on the out breath, see if we can remember to release. So coming back to the breath, coming back to our body again and again, with just a light touch, without much effort, tune into the sensations present here and now in our body. And when we breathe out, see if we can deepen the sense of release. And then finally, I invite you to check in and see if you can highlight anything positive, anything helpful come out of your meditation, any pleasant sensations, any feelings of relaxation or ease. And also, we can acknowledge any areas of the body that may feel tight, tense, or uncomfortable. But most importantly, see if you can highlight the positive so as to form a really good association between all these positive feelings and experiences together with the practice of mindfulness of body. So there is just a simple practice, what I call touch and release, which really geared towards helping us to be more aware of our own body, mindfulness of our own bodily sensations. And I'm trying to emphasize that we really don't need to put too much effort into it. We are really not looking for some special experiences coming out of it. Just very simple, ordinary sensations, and sometimes even no sensation in certain part of our body. And just noticing it, just be aware of it. And just that in itself is, I find, is good enough to facilitate a process of slowing down, unwinding, of releasing. Maybe first in terms of physical tension, of course not everything, but at least some of the physical tightness might be released. And then later on that becomes a favorable conditions to facilitate the settling down of our own mind. And we can do the same thing to the different mental processes, especially those that arise in the form of thinking, which is a very common thing we encounter in our meditation. Especially if something of concern in our life is happening, we'll find that our thoughts sometimes can become very entangled with the different situations we are in. We find that our thoughts, sometimes we call it rumination, because we seem to go over and over again certain thing. We can apply something similar to our thoughts. Touch and release. Touch as in to be aware that I'm thinking, that whatever it is that just now my attention is preoccupied with, that is actually a thought, or that is actually thinking, the process of thinking. So just almost like we have to withdraw a portion of our attention, take it out of the train of thoughts, so as to notice that, oh, this is thinking. So that is to be in touch with our thinking, our thought process, to be aware that I'm thinking when I'm thinking. You will be amazed at the power of this little bit of awareness of thoughts, awareness of thoughts as thought, or what I call touch, to be in touch with what's happening in my mind. Just a light touch, and you don't even need to, in fact, I try to suggest to people not to try to stop thinking, not to try to interfere with the thinking process. In fact, sometimes once the moment you are aware that you are thinking, the thought may automatically stop. The train of thoughts will automatically come to an end because of that awareness. You're aware, oh, I'm just thinking. This is a thought. I'm dwelling on a memory. I'm elaborating on a fantasy. I'm projecting something into the future in this moment. So be in touch with a thought as a thought, and then we practice release. If possible, we invite our attention to come back here and now, come back to something that is happening, in these moments, for example, the breath, come back to sensing the breath. Usually it doesn't stay. You will probably go back to the same old thoughts, the same train of thoughts, which is fine. This is actually quite normal. When we are stressed about something, we're upset about something, we can't stop thinking about it. So all we need to do is to be in touch and to be aware. This is a thought I'm thinking. And then we invite our attention, if possible. Why not come back and be aware of what is happening here and now? Come back to sensing our environment, sensing the body. Maybe you can notice the sound in the environment. This is reality. This is what is happening here and now. And in so doing, we try to facilitate a process of releasing our attention from the thinking itself. Releasing our attention from worrying, from angry thoughts and craving. It's a very gentle process. And we see that whether by simply be aware of thought as thought, does it bring about also a change in our experience? Okay. And again, I'm emphasizing this next meditation when we're doing it. Again, don't try too hard. And don't even need to try hard. As and when you notice, then you can say, oh, I think I've been thinking the last few minutes. Not a problem. Just apply, just to help us see clearly, apply a simple label, thinking. So that you really notice and really be aware that there is a thought. That's good enough, thinking. And if possible, invite your attention to come back here and now to the breath, to your own body, to maybe even the sounds in your surrounding. These are all reality that is happening in this moment. And of course, if your attention stays here and now, wonderful, no problem. If attention is drawn back into thinking, again, it's not a problem. Give us another opportunity with a light touch to notice thinking. Okay, and let's do that and see what happens. See whether does this way of becoming mindful of our own thought, does it actually facilitate the process of release? In this case, we are releasing our attention from our old habituated thinking patterns. We are facilitating a process whereby we are able to release those thoughts. We don't know. We'll see. Okay, so let's do another meditation together. So just as before, we take a few moments, allow the body to adjust itself, find a suitable, comfortable posture to settle down. Allow our attention to come back here and now, to be in touch with our own body, different bodily sensations in the different parts of our own body. And as a way to help body and mind to once again transition into meditation, we can make use of our natural breath to help us as a support. You might find it helpful to start with a few deep breaths, so allow ourselves to breathe in and out deeply for a few times. And on the out breath, please feel free to release. We allow the breath to settle back to its natural rhythm. And we can choose to use the breath sensations or any other bodily sensations or even the sounds in our environment as a support in this meditation on mindfulness of thoughts. We rest our attention here and now with the breath, with the body, with the sounds. And whenever we notice our attention is drawn elsewhere, for whatever reasons, we can always invite our attention to come back here and now, come back to reconnect with these sensations, with with the sounds and so forth. Coming back to the breath, to our own body, bodily sensations, to the sounds. Each time we notice an out breath, a natural out breath, as we feel the sensations of breathing out, we can make use of this opportunity to remind ourselves, our own body, our own mind, that this is an opportunity to release. Just as when we breathe out, the muscles of our diaphragm, or muscles of our chest have to relax in order to facilitate that process of release. Maybe each time when we notice an out breath, when we release those carbon dioxide, some other things, some other experiences are the tension, agitation that are unnecessary, unhelpful, may also flow away with the out breath. So coming back to the breath, to sensations, to sounds, for the first few minutes of this meditation, let's make them the resting place of our attention, a place that we invite our attention to come back to again and again, to be in touch with all these different sensations, with the sounds, so as to facilitate a process of release, releasing our body and mind so that they can really settle down and settle into our own meditation. So attending to the breath or bodily sensations, maybe even the sounds in the surrounding happening here and now. Occasionally you would notice that your attention is no longer here, no longer now. Attention is more likely to be drawn into thinking about this or that. And this is something perfectly normal for our mind to do. And when it happens, why not simply notice it, label it as thinking, and invite our attention, if it's willing, to come back here and now, come back to the breath, come back to your own body, come back to your own environment. attending to the breath or the body or whatever is happening in your meditation here and now. Each time when we notice our attention is involved in the train of thoughts, see if we can, with a simple label it as a thought, as thinking, help us recognize it for what it is. And see if we can do that with a light touch, without getting upset. It's almost as if you're learning to spot different trains of thought that flow through your consciousness, your awareness at any moment. Are you aware when your attention is no longer here and now? Do you notice that your attention has somehow caught a ride on a train of thoughts and has traveled far away from here and now? So again and again, we invite our attention to come back to the breath, to the body, to the sounds, to come back to reality of this moment, to make that the resting place for our attention to come back to. Each time we notice a thought, we labor with the word thinking. We are channeling the energy of our attention away from the habit of thinking and into the habit of mindfulness. And then finally, I invite you to expand the scope of your awareness, to check in and find out for yourself how your body is feeling at the end of the meditation. See if you can highlight anything positive, anything beneficial that come out of the meditation. And also acknowledge anything unpleasant or uncomfortable you may find within your own body. Likewise, also check in to notice the state of your mind, the quality of your attention. Notice for yourself, are there many different thoughts arising within your own mind? Is the mind fairly busy with thinking? Or maybe the mind has come under the influence of sleepiness, it's feeling a bit dull, dark, and heavy. Or maybe you find in this moment a certain stillness within your own mind, a certain sense of presence and awareness. And simply acknowledging wherever we find here in this moment, we can dedicate the positive momentum we create through cultivating mindfulness, meditation. We dedicate the positive momentum towards the fulfillment of our higher aspirations for ourselves as well as for others. We can dedicate that may anything good or helpful, beneficial that come out of this meditation, may they stay with us, may they linger in body, mind, and heart to help us build new beneficial habits of attention so that they can continue to benefit us long after the meditation is over. Okay, that's 1 hour, easy peasy. Thank you very much for your attention, and wish you have a good evening and a good week ahead, and I will see you next week. So, good night.